London boroughs prepare for legal battle against Sadiq Khan's expansion of ultra-low emission zone, Ulez. Millions of pounds will be spent fighting Sadiq Khan's expansion of the ultra-low emission zone, Ulez, by cash-strapped London boroughs, as a result of the Ulez rebellion against him. As council leaders protest Ulez expansion throughout Greater London, the implementation of the controversial £12.50 per day fee runs the risk of becoming embroiled in a number of lengthy legal battles. This weekend, 4 boroughs are considering whether to proceed with a costly High Court application to thwart Mr. Khan's plans. According to Conservative Party sources, other councils have pledged to prevent the installation of Ulez cameras, which could result in a legal challenge from the London mayor. Last week, the boroughs of Bexley, Bromley, Hillingdon, and Harrow announced their intention to collaborate and investigate the possibility of a judicial review. The Telegraph has learned that leaders of local authorities have been warned that if the legal challenge is unsuccessful, they could face a multi-million-pound legal bill, because councils would have to pay for the mayor's costs as well as their own. After promising to stop the Ulez expansion at the local election in May, many local authorities in outer London boroughs are desperate to stop Mr. Khan's plans from moving forward. Some 59% of people who responded to a public consultation opposed the Ulez expansion last year. Mr. Khan was not required to follow a legal vote or referendum. Responses from Transport for London to questions from the council's lawyers are expected to determine whether or not the 4 councils will initiate a judicial review. By this Friday, it is anticipated that the responses will be communicated. It is believed that the opposing boroughs are looking into whether the mayor supported his plans by using inaccurate pollution statistics. Sources added that it is also possible that Ulez expansion would violate equalities legislation, which prevents disabled people from travelling freely. The Telegraph quoted Chris Grayling, a Conservative MP for Epsom and Ewell and former Transport Secretary, as saying, "Because of the mayor's decision, many pensioners in Epsom and Ewell will have to pay to go to their local hospital in St Helier for an appointment, or to see their general practitioner. There are real effects on people's lives outside of London, and I don't think the mayor cares about them. People here feel powerless and would welcome any action to prevent this." Orpington Conservative MP Gareth Bacon added, "It is appalling that Sadiq Khan has refused to listen to the overwhelming opposition to the expansion of Ulez in outer London. Now, there appears to be evidence that City Hall attempted to influence the Ulez consultation. To protect their residents, local authorities now have no choice but to consider costly legal action. I am pleased that Bromley is a member of a coalition of local authorities looking into challenging Ulez in court. However, councils shouldn't have been put in this situation by the mayor. He ought to abandon his scheme for a highway robbery and pay attention to the overwhelming opposition of Londoners." Mr. Khan is said to have been enraged by the possibility that councils would spend a lot of money on a legal challenge. A friend of his said, "To block a policy aimed at cleaning up toxic air, which is causing children in outer London to grow up with stunted lungs, these Tory councils are proposing to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds of council taxpayers' money." The majority of the 4,000 people who die annually in London as a result of air pollution reside in outer London. Before taking any action to clean up London's toxic air, these councillors must carefully consider the children whose health is at risk and the number of deaths they are willing to tolerate. The Conservative MP for Old Bexley and Sidcup, Louis French, stated, "Not only have the mayor's plans to expand Ulez to the entirety of Greater London ignored the wishes of the majority of Londoners who opposed it, but he has also ignored the numerous local councils that oppose his tax raid on drivers in their region and his use of their infrastructure to impose fines on individuals. This has forced local councils to consider costly legal actions against the mayor, who must immediately withdraw from these poorly thought-out plans." His most recent book talks about working with other people, but just like everything else he can do, he has failed spectacularly at it, and his rhetoric doesn't match the reality. The calls for the mayor to resign will only grow in volume if he does not change his mind.